What if the story of life began not with a word, but with the roar of a giant serpent? When we think about Chinese symbolism, dragons often steal the spotlight. As we bid farewell to the year of the dragon, the snake slowly slithering its way to take over. Commonly referred to as a little dragon, the snake might be smaller in size, but its deep-rooted symbolism holds a powerful role in Chinese culture. But how significant? Let's go back to the very beginning. Once upon a time, well, technically no one knows when, since time didn't exist yet. They called it 鸿蒙时代, the age of primordial chaos, a disorderly and borderless state before the formation of the universe. There was nothing but chaos, a formless swirling mass of void contained within the shape of a cosmic egg. When the opposing forces of yin and yang finally balanced, it gave birth to the first man. His name was Pangu. For so long, Pangu was deep asleep and continued to grow inside this cosmic egg. After 18,000 years, the giant opened his eyes. Feeling confined, he stretched his massive body, and with a mighty roar, he broke free from the egg. The light and clear essence of yang gradually rose and turned into the sky, while the heavy and turbid essence of yin sung and formed the earth. Afraid that they were close together again, Pangu stood between the sky and earth, determined to keep them apart. Every day, the sky grew 10 feet higher, the earth grew 10 feet thicker, and Pangu grew the same length to maintain the separation. This process continued for another 18,000 years, until the sky was immeasurably high, the earth unfathomably deep, and Pangu himself had become a giant, bridging the two. Just like Atlas holds up the sky, except not for eternity. Exhausted from his efforts, Pangu finally lay down and died. But even in death, his body transformed into the world itself. His breath became the wind and clouds, his voice the thunder, and his eyes the sun and moon. His limbs and torso formed the 4 pillars of the earth and the 5 sacred mountains, while his blood flows as rivers, and his veins became the earth patterns. His flesh turned into soil, his hairs into stars, and his sweat into rain. His teeth and bones and marrow transform into precious stones and metals. While Pangu's story might share some similarities with some other primordial giant figures, Ymir, the ancestor of all Jotun in Norse mythology, and Purusha, the cosmic being in Hindu mythology, for example, where the death and sacrifice brought structure to the world and the cosmos. What does Pangu have to do with the snake figure, as the topic suggested? There have been over 200 Pangu-related stories collected from different ethnic groups in China, and his appearance varies. Most statues and paintings of him show a giant or stout man holding up the sky or with a cosmic egg. a hammer, the moon and sun, or a yin and yang symbol in his hands. Besides the oral traditions, some written records mention that he transformed 9 times a day, and described as having the head of a dragon and the body of a snake, also a human face with horns and a snake body. In some versions of the myth, Pangu's essence did not simply transform into the natural world, but also gave rise to other divine beings. Among them are 2 of the most important figures in Chinese mythology, Nüwa and Fuxi. Although their origins and relationships vary across different texts and traditions, the unearthed artworks often depict a man and women with human upper bodies, and the lower bodies are in the shape of a snake wrapped around each other. Shan Hai Jing, the classic of mountains and seas, called Nüwa an ancient goddess and sovereign who had a human face and a snake's body. In one day, she could undergo 70 transformations. Not only that, but she was also known to be the mother goddess who created humans. After Pangu's death, the world was still incomplete. Feeling lonely in the vast emptiness, Nüwa shaped figures out of yellow clay and breathed life into them, creating the first humans. When she grew tired, she dipped a rope into the mud and flicked it, creating more people from the droplets. Their stories was used to explain the distinction between upper-class nobility, which she molded by hand, and the commoners created from the droplets. A depiction of the social hierarchy that was predominant in ancient times. According to Questions and Answer on Rites and Customs written by Dongxun in the Jin dynasty, Nüwa created various animals from the 1st to the 6th day, and humans on the 7th day. This is why the 7th day of the first lunar month is referred to as Ren Ri, which translates to human days. It is celebrated as a universal birthday and has been honored for thousands of years. Many generations passed, and the earth flourished, but it was not without turmoil. Wars raged among gods and mortals alike, and the balance of heaven and earth grew fragile. It was during this time of chaos that a great conflict between 2 powerful beings erupted. Gonggong, the fearsome water god with the body of a snake, the face of a man, and a fiery mane of red hair, rose in rebellion against the celestial emperor Zhuanshu's rule. By his side was his loyal servant Xiangliu, a monstrous green snake with 9 human heads, whose venomous breath poisoned the land. Together, they waged a war that shook the very foundations of the cosmos. The battle raged for days and nights, with the emperor coming out victorious. The defeated water god, in a fit of rage, lunged into Mount Buzhou, the mighty pillar created from one of Pangu's limbs, and that supported the northwest corner of the heavens. The impact was catastrophic. The pillar shattered, resulting in the sky collapsing and tilting toward the northwest, while the earth sunk in the southeast. Earthquakes rattled the earth, rivers overflowed, fire raged, and wild beasts roamed freely, threatening the survival of humanity. And couldn't bear seeing the suffering of her creations, Nüwa took it upon herself to repair the damage. She gathered 5 colored stones and melted them in a great cauldron to patch the hole in the sky. But the sky needed more than just patches. They needed support, and without a pillar, her repairs would be in vain. A divine being named Owl presented a solution. These enormous creatures say to be born from a great dragon, possess the body of a turtle and the head of a dragon. The mighty owl offered its legs to serve as the new pillars. With the sky now stabilized, the goddess calmed the flood waters and guided the rivers back to their rightful paths. She even vanquished the beasts that threatened her beloved human children, including a malevolent black dragon. Due to Owl's slightly shorter legs, the alignment of the sky and earth was forever altered. A poetic yet dramatic way to describe the reason why rivers in China flow southeast, while the northwest is the higher ground, and how rainbow and vibrant clouds are formed due to the use of 5 colored stones. With Nüwa credited as the creator and savior of humanity. What about Fuxi, whose snake tail she intertwined with? In earlier texts and traditions, Fuxi and Nüwa existed as separate entities, each with their distinct legacies and roles. Their associations as spouses or siblings appeared later, noticeably from the Han Dynasty. The transition from matrilineal to patrilineal society may have significantly influenced this revolution. To talk about Fuxi's remarkable life, we have to start from his lineage, that is, outside of him being the creation of Pangu's essence. Some ancient texts refer to him as the successor of Shui Renshi, a legendary figure and leader who introduced humans to the production of fire. But the most well-known origin story linked him to the ancient tribe of Huaxi. Some historians and archaeologists have suggested that Huaxi Kingdom dates back to the Neolithic period. In ancient literature, this was the land where people lived in perfect harmony, untouched by the struggles and conflicts. A utopia existed outside of ordinary time. They would say that one day, the remarkable and much-loved leader, Huaxi Shi, the goddess of the 9 rivers, was wandering near the Thunder Marsh. There, she stumbled upon a massive footprint left by Lei Shen, the thunder god with a human face and a dragon body. Curious, she stepped into the footprint, and at that moment, a strange energy surged through her, and shortly thereafter, she found herself pregnant. This pregnancy lasted an astonishing 12 years, and eventually, an extraordinary child was born. Described as a man of human serpent hybrid appearance, Fuxi revolutionized early human society with his many innovations. He taught people to craft tools and technique to efficiently fish, hunt, and preserve food, and introduced the domestication of wild animals, laying the foundation for animal husbandry. Fuxi also reformed marriage customs, promoting monogamy and interclan union, which replaced primitive promiscuity and established clearer family structures. To aid communications and record keeping, he created a system of writing, replacing the older method of knot tying. Fuxi enriched human life by inventing musical instruments like the taoxun and the ancient zither, composing songs and bringing music into daily life. As a ruler, he divided his territory and appointed officials to manage society, setting an early example of governance. Perhaps his most profound contribution was the creation of Bagua, or the 8 trigrams, which form the foundation of the I Ching, or Book of Changes, and the basis for Chinese cosmology, divination, geomancy, and philosophy. It was believed that Fuxi united ancient tribes, combining their totems into a single powerful symbol, Long, the dragon, while in Shiji, the records of the grand historians credited his descendants Huangdi, a yellow emperor, for its creation. It is said that the dragon has 9 resemblances: the antlers of a deer, a serpent's body, tiger's eyes, gaped scales, eagle's claws, and more. The combinations varied in different phases of ancient China, but its significance as a unifying emblem and symbol of power remain unchanged. The legacy continues beyond this point. Some believe that Shaodian, the son of Fuxi and Nüwa, was the father of the 2 legendary emperors, Yandi and Huangdi. These figures are regarded as the ancestors of the Han ethnic group. Today, Han people worldwide proudly identify as Yan Huang Zisun, which translates to descendants of the Yin and Yellow emperors. Like the seal of Ningizida and the caduceus of Hermes, the imagery of Nüwa and Fuxi's entwined serpent forms has drawn comparisons to the double helix structure of DNA, as they share a remarkable resemblance. An interesting take, since their intertwined form, often seen as the merging of yin and yang, represents the origins of life and the continuity of the human bloodline. A poetic parallel, perhaps, but one detail stands out to me in some of these artworks. Take, for instance, the silk painting found in the Astana tombs in 1967, where the couple is depicted surrounded by the Big Dipper and various other constellations. Upon counting, I noted a total of 64 stars, which brings to mind the excellent book Tao of Chaos, DNA and the I Ching, and by Katja Water. In this work, she presents a comprehensive comparison between the 64 codons in DNA and the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching, suggesting that both encode patterns of transformation that shape the universe and life itself. As previously mentioned, the I Ching, a book of changes, has its origins with Fuxi. The snake connection does not end here. In fact, a great number of deities and hero figures in ancient Chinese legends are closely related to the serpentine imagery and vastly exceed other combinations, such as the likeness of horse, tiger, ox, and so on. In Shanhai Jing alone, not least of 42 mountain gods are of human face and snake body. It was a common practice among people, even the sovereigns, to pay homage to the mountain gods. On the other hand, the 4 sea gods are largely depicted with human faces, bird bodies, and snakes uncoiled around their ears and beneath their feet. Some snake-like creatures are viewed as a sign of bad omen. Fei Yi, a demon snake with 1 head and 2 bodies. The aggressive red-headed Pangshe, and the 4-winged snake Mingshe, for example. Their appearance is said to signify the coming of drought. If the example of those of the deity status isn't enough, ancient legend also tells of a mystical kingdom of Xuanyuan, where the residents lived to at least 800 years of age. These people are said to have human faces and serpent-like bodies. With all that being said, surely the revered status of the snake now only lives in myth and legends. The little dragon is just one of the 12 Zodiac signs, entertaining tales in video games, movies, and TV shows. While snakes may no longer rule as sovereigns, their worship persists to this day across many ethnic groups in China, Taiwan, and among Chinese overseas. Though the dedication to Pangu, Nüwa, and Fuxi is not as widespread as some other deities, their legacy lives on the numerous temples with a constant flow of worshippers, festivals and landscapes named after them. The Shiling Pangu Culture Festival in Guangzhou, the Nüwa Sacrificial Ceremony and Festival in Nüwa Palace, Shexian, and the Fuxi Cultural Festival in Tianshui, Gansu, are a few examples among many. During the Year of the Snake, Nüwa especially has been the focus theme in many regional and national events. Fujian Province in China, known historically as Min. The character of Min itself symbolizes a sacred snake inside a door. Ancient Min people were known for their snake totem worship and honored them as ancestors. To this day, snake king palaces and temples can be found in the Fujian province. Numerous snake worship ceremonies and festivals dedicated to the snake deity also take place in various regions. These traditions have since been listed as part of the intangible cultural heritage. Miao, Dong, Li, and Tu people are among the groups who also honor and incorporate snakes and their ancestor worship. In Taiwan, the 100-pace viper is a sacred symbol of the indigenous tribe of Paiwan. The name came from the belief that once bitten, the victim will be dead within 100 steps. It is often considered the ancestor of the chief's family and the protector of the Paiwan people. Its patterns and totems are commonly seen in their arts and crafts, such as architecture, ornament, and traditional attire and daily necessities, and the chiefs and noble families have them tattooed on their bodies. Legend has it that the 100-faced viper and transform into a mountain hawk eagle at an old age, and continuing to watch over the people as king of the sky. The nose flute is emblematic of the 100-faced viper and is often played during a special ceremony such as a funeral, harvest festival, and wedding. And some say the 100-faced viper can foretell the future. And Paiwan in Bioma village believe the sound of the nose flute carries messages of prophecy as it imitates the sound of the sacred 100-faced viper. Many ethnic groups in China have their own human snake love stories, which have been passed down through the generations among their people. Not to mention the most famous, the legend of the white snake, which every Chinese-speaking person around the world is familiar with. These are merely a few examples of the significant status of snakes in Chinese history and culture. They were the creators, ancestor spirits, ancient tribal totem, imperial power, symbols of wisdom, vitality, medicine. The list goes on. Snake figures in myth are certainly not unique to China. Orpheon, the great serpent who once ruled the cosmos with Eurynome before being overthrown by Kronos and Rhea, marks the shift from serpentine primordial deities to the Titan rulers in Greek mythology. Neherbkau, the primeval serpent god in Egyptian mythology, guarded the entrance to the underworld, while the Australian Aboriginal rainbow serpent shaped the landscape and created life during the dreaming. While many ancient serpent figures have faded into history, China and much of the Asian region continues to revere the snake, keeping its symbolism alive in festivals, art, and daily life. They came long before emperors, dynasties, or even the first written word, and their presence lingers long after. A harmony born of chaos, shaping the rhythms of life, culture, and the cosmos.